Hey everybody, welcome back to Cooking with Legs. Today I'm doing pasta shells. I have been looking forward to doing this dish since Monday. I don't know why, but Thursday nights I tend to do something a little more intricate, a little more showy. I don't know if that, neither one of those are words for this, it's just food. You know, the only difference between a really fancy dish and a regular dish, or a not so fancy dish, is the extra steps involved. Really, that's kind of it. And this isn't really that fancy, it's rustic, home, Italian-American cuisine. It's not all that extravagant, but I love it. I was hoping to do manicotti or cannelloni, but I couldn't find the shells. My pasta roller, I found it, but I can't find the little handle thing to turn it, so the pasta roller is going to just have to get junked and have to buy a new one. That said, since I couldn't do the rolled pasta, I just went ahead and found some shells. And with the shells, you're going to want to cook them al dente. Maybe half the time that it says on the package to cook them. I think these are like 5 minutes. You want them pliable, but you don't want them soft. They'll finish cooking in the oven. For the stuffing, for the meat ones, it's going to be ground meat, onion, garlic. Cook that down, add that to a bowl. In a bowl, you can add 2 eggs, some Parmesan cheese, some mozzarella cheese, and some breadcrumbs and some olive oil. And roll that until you have this like consistency of almost, I don't want to say meatloaf, but meatloaf-like consistency. Then you're going to take that and shove that inside of the al dente shell. Put it in a pan, cover it with mozzarella cheese, cover it with marinara sauce and some mozzarella cheese. Bake it 350 for 35 minutes. The cheese ones, you're going to just, in a bowl, mix in ricotta cheese, 2 eggs, it depends on how many cheese, you have a pound and a half of ricotta, 24 ounces. So what that's going to be 3 eggs. Some Parmesan cheese, some mozzarella cheese, roll that together. Shove that inside of the same al dente shells. Cover that with some marinara and some mozzarella. That goes in the oven, same time. So basically, they're going to cook together. But I'm going to let the people decide which one they want, right? Simple, 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 simple. Just a lot of steps, and you got to do prep work. You want to have the meat mixture cool when you go to stuff it, and vice versa. So it is, by that sense, you can make it mixture the night before if you wanted, and then just stuff it the day of, and you only in the oven for 35 minutes. Not that bad. Easy to do during a weeknight. The cheese mixture, same thing. So you can mix the stuffing one day and stuff them the next, or you can even make them and stuff them one day and put them in the oven the next. Either way works fine. It'll hold overnight just perfectly fine. But it's not something. It is something you have to pre-plan to do. It's not one of those things you just walk in a house, like that sausage sandwich, throw it in the oven, done. Throw it in the stove, done. It's not one of those kind of things. But it's great. And we don't do a lot of tomato dishes here. My wife's stomach does not like tomato, or the tomato doesn't like her stomach. Whatever argument you believe is fine. It's all the same thing. So I love marinara sauce. I love tomato sauce. I grew up eating a lot of Italian food, so I love it. But we err on the side of the cream sauces more often for that reason. So with this, I'm really looking forward to it. In fact, I may make a bechamel or a quick Alfredo sauce on the side to put for plating purposes. Just put the bechamel and Alfredo at the bottom, put the shells on top, and then cover that with marinara. That would be awesome. I might do that. That might go really well. Anyway, time will tell, I guess. So let me get started with getting prepped up. I'm going to go ahead and dice an onion and chop up some garlic, and then we'll get to the stove and get the meat started so that has time to get cool before we get everything else rolling. Anyway, I hope you'll have a nice day. Thank you again for watching all these. I really do appreciate it. And yeah, so get the pan heated up and get some oil dancing in there. And it looks like that's good enough. And now we're gonna go ahead and drop in about half an onion, roughly half an onion. I've got already chopped a bunch. There we go. Just got to save some for the pasta sauce later. Just want to get a little bit of color on that before I throw the meat in and the garlic. All right, got some color in there. Go ahead and add in the ground meat. I'm just doing a pound because I don't want to. If I was doing all meat, I would be doing 2 pounds of meat. But I'm doing half meat, half cheese. So with the meat, we're going to add in some garlic. see people on the TikTok thing using these weird little plunger looking devices to break up ground meat. I know what that's all about. As you can see, the basic seasoning for this dish is really simple. It's just salt, pepper, and garlic powder. I mean, everything else is going to come from the garlic and the herbs, I should say. Go drain the meat now, and I will head back over to the prep station. While the meat's draining, this way. While the meat's draining and cooling off a little bit, I'm going to go ahead and shred down about half a block of mozzarella cheese. I've already grated some Parmesan, but I'm going to go ahead and get the mozz grated now. I only need half a block for this, about 4 ounces, and 1 egg. I misspoke earlier when I said 2. Alright, so to the meat, we're going to add the mozzarella, roughly 4 ounces, about half a block. Some freshly grated Parmesan. Some breadcrumbs. Basil. Yeah, I'm using dried oregano because the stuff at the grocery store look like poo. So I always keep this stuff on hand just for when the stuff with the fresh stuff looks like poo. I grow the bright basil now. I gave up on trying to find that decent during the winter months. Just want to show you, this is what the stuffing, here you go. Just want to show you, this is what the stuffing will look like when it's done. It's ready to go in the fridge. And roughly 6 ounces of mozzarella, parsley, and some freshly grated or freshly chopped parsley, freshly chopped basil, and I'm gonna have to reach out to my little dry stuff over here again for oregano. I'm gonna add something to this. I don't know how popular this is around other places, but I got these tubes. If this shows up on the camera. Yeah. These tubes of Italian herbs. I keep this stuff in the fridge for when I can't find the fresh ingredients. I like the flavor better than the dry. I don't know. And then roughly this is 3 ounces of Parmesan cheese. I don't know how to weigh that right now by hand, so I'm just going to dump a bunch in there. Just going to stir all that up together. That's basically what it's going to look like, right? That's all mixed together. That's what you get. Now I want to get these nice and soft. And you're just going to want to cook that long enough for them to get fragrant. I smell it good. I'm going to go ahead and add some tomato sauce. There we go. Let that come together and let it simmer for about 20 to 30 minutes. Alright, so as you can see, the stuffing's done, the pasta's done. The only thing left to really do is boil the pasta for 5 or 6 minutes, stuff the pasta, bake the pasta for 35 or 40 minutes. And that's really it. This is really a fairly simple dish. It's just a little time consuming. You got 45 minutes down in there, you got all the time invested in making the actual stuffings. It's not difficult by any means. It just does take some time. So anyway, with that said, let's get pasta boiling. Yeah. One important thing I forgot to mention. When you're pulling the pasta out for this, because you're cooking it al dente, don't put it in some cold water so that when you're stuffing it, it's not cooking and, it's not still cooking. You want to stop the cooking process so that it can finish in the oven. Forgot to mention that. I wanted to make sure I did. So that's basically what's going to happen right now. I'm going to pull them out of the hot water, put them into cold water, then start assembling them. Basically, you just want to stuff them. Doesn't have to be pretty, doesn't have to be elegant, just stuff them puppies. Seam side up. So like I said, the meats are stuffed. We're gonna do the cheese now, and I'm gonna try and just fill up this one baking dish because, well, that's one less dish I gotta wash, I guess. I got plenty of space on here, so let's get the cheese stuffed. Definitely want the seam side up because the cheese is gonna get all over the freaking place. So here, I'll do, just kind of want to put that in there. Just like that. That's a wrap, Jack. I'm going to do that about 1,900 more times. And fill it up. So now that everything's stuffed and the oven is preheated, go ahead and put some sauce and everything. I'm going to take a little bit of grated grated parm. A little bit of fresh grated, now we're going to put some fresh grated mozz on top. In the oven, 350, 35 minutes. For plating, I did go ahead and make a quick Alfredo sauce with just some butter, some heavy cream, and some grated Parmesan. I just went ahead and put that at the bottom and then put the shells on top of that with a little bit of fresh marinara, and then went ahead and dressed it with the herbs and the, as you see, the mozzarella and Parmesan.